Good morning everyone, how are you this morning? It's Thursday morning as our usual time slot. I'm just going to refresh my page over here. I was thinking of setting up and getting everything ready and putting all my stamps on their blocks and thinking I had oodles of time, and then I looked at the clock and I went, oh no, I'm a little bit late. So good morning Sue, how are you? I'm just getting my laptop set up next to me so I can see everything and make sure that I'm working well. So yep, I can see me. I think I better just mute myself here. I can find my mute button. Good-o. Okay, I think I'm all good. Okay, excellent. Good morning Nicole, good morning Sue, how are you? We're going to be making, oh Logan's there too, hello! I don't know whether he remembers me or not, but I remember him. He's such a cutie. Okay, today we are making man cards. I always get that little voice from Toy Story in my head. Ooh, he's a man doll. We're going to make man cards. Hey! He's so cute. Yes, so we're making man cards and we're using the High Tide stamp set because I have had it for just a wee little bit of time and I've not used it yet, so I thought it better. Good morning Lois. So I thought it better use it because, you know, I've got quite a few stamp sets from the Occasions catalogue that have not been inked yet, so I'm going to have to do something about that. Now the card that I'm making today is a Pinterest card and quite a few people have cased it, but I'm sort of putting my own little spin on it and just zhuzhing it up a little bit. Is that a word? I'm just going to add a little bit of my touch to it, so which is what you do when you case a card, isn't it? So now I also have to say it's not unusual for me, I stuffed up as usual. So last week I was saying that I had the doilies as my giveaway, but I accidentally sent them to Leonie instead of the sequins. So this week, as soon as I finished here, good morning Tina, as soon as I finish here I'm going to go and draw the name from last week's video, but you won't be getting the doilies because I accidentally gave them away. You'll be getting the sequins, and this week's giveaway is the mini pine cone embellishments, which are they, and which are these little things. Let me get them open. So it's not unusual for me to stuff things up, so that's your little little mini pine cones, and they've got a little thingy up the top. Good morning Mary, good morning Kim. Cool, everybody's coming in, this is awesome. So yes, so apologies for that little bit of a mix-up. It, you know, it doesn't surprise me though. I'm me. So, but that's what's going to happen. So I will, when we're finished here, I'll go and draw last week's winner, and you will get the frosted sequins. I don't even know whether Leonie noticed that she didn't get the right prize. So shh. So, but this week's prize I've just mentioned is the mini pine cone embellishments, and these were from the holiday catalogue. So they are a retired item, but I'm sure that whoever wins them will still put them to good use. And so all you have to do to win these is just chat with me, and I will draw a random commenter from the list and pop them in the mail for you. Cool. Okay, so let's get started on our man cards, and I'll swing our camera around so that we can get going. Oh, I nearly tapped the finish button then. That would have been a little bit awkward, wouldn't it? Pass around. Get us all set up. Zoom in a smidge where I can get the, there we go. Okay, now like I said, this is a Pinterest card, and there isn't any special technique this week or anything. Well, I've actually got another watercolor technique that I want to try out for next week. But this is the stamp set that we're using. Get myself all set up so I can see and make sure that everything's in the right viewing. Okay, so High Tide, which I absolutely loved when I saw this in the catalogue. It just like screamed mail cards. I'm sure that you can pretty them up and do, just try and get that glare off of there, I'm sure that you can pretty them up and do female cards out of it too. So the colours for my man card are going to be Night of Navy and Cherry Cobbler, because, you know, they're such a good combination. And then we'll be using Marina Mist and Garden Green, which I know a lot of you just absolutely adore this colour. And then Early Espresso and Crumb Cake. Oh, Lois, you're welcome. It's an awesome set. Okay, so they're all the colours that I'll be using. And we're going to start off with, you should see everything around me. It's everywhere. Okay, so I'm starting off with my piece of Whisper White. And if you're playing along, the measurements are 7 by 10. And we're doing it... That green is my favourite green. Thank you very much, Nicole. Okay, so I think I've used up nearly every single block that I own so that I don't have to be peeling blocks off and cleaning them and doing all that sort of stuff. So. Okay, so using my Crumb Cake, and you know what, being the first time I've used this, I don't even know whether this is the first one that you put down or whether you put down the, you know, I loved Artichoke, but I have not used Artichoke since Sage Shadow disappeared, so that's a little bit sad. Okay, so I'm assuming that I've got enough ink on there, and I'm assuming that you put this one down first. So I want to put it down fairly low because and to the left. I hope my head's not in the way. Let me try and come up here a little bit. Because I want to put the what do you call it? The lighthouse is actually really quite tall. So let's get that down first. Okay, I'm going to end up in a world of mess here. And then I don't actually know what part of the lighthouse you're supposed to stamp first. So if anyone knows, tell me, but I'm going to do the bold one first. And I'm just inking up in Cherry Cobbler. Now, I know that a lot of people have said, oh, what's that thing there? Let me just, oh, you know what? That's actually supposed to be there. It looks like there's a little divot in there, but it's actually supposed to be there because there's actually a little window type thing. And now that I just made a complete mess of my block. Red lighthouses. One of the girls in my craft group yesterday said there is actually a red lighthouse because her brother-in-law is going to be the caretaker of it or something, and this was just going to be perfect for a thank you card for them. So okay, I'm leaning in, I'm hoping, yep, there goes my head's in the way. So I'm just going to stamp that bit there. I'm going to try and not have the Leaning Tower of lighthouse. I'm just going to pop that in and stamp that there. Peel that off. I think it's on a little bit of a wobble. Okay, and then there's a second stamp which sort of gives the shadow, and it turns out really, really lovely. So just going to ink that up again. And then this is the tricky part, is lining them up. So my head will probably get in the way for this because I can't quite see what I'm doing. Maybe if I stand up it might be a bit the other way. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, down we go. Yeah, this one, I don't know, Lois. I don't know which one goes down first, but whatever's easiest for you is what I say. So make sure, look, make sure there's no ink on my fingers. Close enough. I'm a little bit off, but that'll do. Okay, do I need the red anymore? I don't think I do. I can put you away. Okay, our glorious garden green. I might just zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see that a little bit closer. How's that? Okay, so we've got a whole heap of grasses. Well, not a whole heap, there's two. That's a little bit of an exaggeration there, isn't it? So I'm just going to pop some grasses around as well. Nice and clean now. And this one for some more leafy stuff. We'll pop it down here. See? Oh, she really is on the wonk now. I can see it better now. Okay, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, I don't need my lovely garden green. I love, you know, I don't, oh, have I got stuff on my card? I did. It wasn't as, that's not as bad as what I did yesterday at Lincoln Land. I had a nice big smudge up here and I had to cover it up with a sentiment, so that was real handy. Okay, what do I need now? Oh, the ocean. So, it's, you know, I haven't done a lot of stamping like this for a long time. It's like stamping up an image, and it's actually really nice to go back and do it again. You can't see it, that's good, because I can see it. There's a bit of a dark mark there. Okay, so inking up. Now what some of the ladies did at Lincoln Learn, which is after I had done mine, is they just got some scrap card and laid it over the top just to make a little bit of a mask. But I'm just going to not do that. I'm just gonna, mine will have gaps, but that's okay. For a bit of the ocean. And I'm just going to swing it around and do the other side. I think, which way will I do? No, I'll come back this way. And the great thing is about this little bit of the ocean is that when you're stamping, like when you want to do a longer line, I'll just show you here. The way that it's been made, where can you see it best? Up here? The way that it's been made is so that you can actually join them in together and make a long ocean without too much interference going on between here. So, so that's why they've got the funny shapes on either side. So you can make a longer ocean. Okay, now what do I need? So that was done in Marina Mist. Now I need the Early Espresso. And I need some birds. We've got two sets of birds. We've got the seagulls flying, and then we've got these little oyster eater type things up here. I think that's what they're called. Okay, so just going to ink up in, I'm using Early Espresso now, and just going to pop that up in that top corner like that. So it's all coming together nicely, and I just love it. There's so much stamping in this card. I really like it. Okay, now sentiment comes in next, and because I was thinking that the other two cards that I did, I made them just happy birthday cards, and I'll show you them in a minute. Needs a sun. It does, doesn't it? I haven't got room for a sun though. Yeah, my last cards I made it as a happy birthday card, but there's some really, really nice sayings in this card. They're a little bit more heartfelt. What is that? I don't know. If anybody knows what that thing is there, tell me. What is it for? I don't know. And the font is just really, really lovely in these. So I thought, well, I've got two happy birthday cards, let's face it. The only cards that I give are to Craig and my dad. So I've got my two happy birthday cards already sorted out for this year. But I thought, the kids have got youth group tomorrow night, and I thought I might do a card for Pastor Benji, just to say thank you very much for taking my kids off my hands for a couple of hours every fortnight. So I thought I might put, there's nothing little about the light you shine, and then just write in my own thank you sentiment. So I'm going to, which is closer to the original one that I saw on Pinterest anyway. So there is a light, yes, but I'm going to stamp this here, so I'm not going to have room for my light. So excuse me, my head coming in again, because I want to get this straightish. So I'm just going to pop that in that space there. It could be a filler inner for the water. I really don't know what it is. I do not know. So that's how I'm going to have mine. Now, there was no sponging in the original card, and I've sort of taken a fancy to sponging again. I haven't sponged for quite a long time, but I think, and you'll see the difference as I go around, but just really, really lightly, I'm just going to add some crumb cake around the edge. Now, when you do sponging, less is more. You only want a nice soft one, which is why I tend to dab off, before I come onto my card, I dab off on my scrap paper so that I don't have that harsh edge going on. I can go deeper down here because I've got my sand down there anyway, but just around the light area I don't want so, whoops, I'm out of camera for you. I don't want so much heaviness going on. And then when I'm done, I usually just try and knock off as much ink as I can, and then just slowly go around, just lightly go around those edges, just to bring it in a little bit. Not too much, just a wee little bit. So you probably can't see it because there's a lot of light going on above me, but that's just taken and warmed up the whole thing there. Hi, Tanya. Yeah, I thought, and we were talking on my group page the other day about appreciation and how, the most basic form of appreciation is just to send a card and or a note or something to say thank you. So I thought that if I give this to him, that would just show my appreciation to him because my kids, they love, they really, really enjoy going to the youth group. I'm just going to pull back a little bit now if I can, so that you guys can see me make the rest of the card. Okay, so that's my main panel all ready and done, and I've got all my other bits and pieces over here, so I'll tell you the measurements of them if you wish to play along yourself. So my card base is going to open up like a book, and it is 26 by 13, which seems to be my standard card these days. And then I'm going to have a piece of Night of Navy. Dapper Denim would work really nicely with this as well, but I didn't have enough cardstock, unfortunately. So the measurements for this is 10 centimeters by 8. Now, before I stick that on, I actually want to do some stamping on it. I've already sponged around the edges because I figured that you guys probably wouldn't have wanted to see me sponge every single piece of card. So, and what I'm doing is I'm just taking and this wasn't on the original one either, I'm just taking my water again, and I'm just going to stamp the edges just to give a little bit of a texture. Because when I first discovered Stampin' Up, it was actually through eBay. I was actually with another stamping company at that time, and I somehow come across an old catalogue for sale on eBay, and it wasn't in Australia because Stampin' Up wasn't here yet, but so I've just done that. So I bought this catalogue off of eBay, and the thing that really stood out to me was that nearly every single piece of card was stamped on, and I just loved that look. So, and that's still what's has drawn me to it as well. So rather than just having a blank piece of card, just having that little bit of texture on the sides just makes your card stand out just a tiny bit more. So I am going to go ahead when I find my snail and stick that on. Oh, I've just lost my momentarily there. That'll come back up in a minute. Lost my iPad thing. The thing just closed down on me. So I'm sure it'll come back. I just remembered to try and keep up here. Here we go. Didn't think I was going to have any issues today, but of course there is always something. Okay, so I'm just going to stick that down in the middle-ish. Okay, so, and I've also sponged around my base card here as well. Yes, Kim, this is a really good stamp set to have on hand. And then I've got a piece of crumb cake, and that has also been sponged around. So that's just going to get stuck down to I can't see. Hopefully it's not wonky because I don't want my head being seen all the time. So, because people tell me I've got silver threads in my hair. If she comes back and watches later on, I remember that comment. Okay, so that's our base layout, and then this one is going to go over the top. But to add a little bit of interest, I'm just going to take a small piece of the burlap ribbon, probably around about 6 centimeters, just a small amount, and my stapler, and I'm just going to fold that over so it's like a bit of a jeans tab, and tuck that behind, and I'm just going to staple that on. The original card had a big blue candy dot, or something enameled, something, but of course I don't have that, so I am just going to staple it, which is a fairly manly thing as well, just having a staple. And then this piece, because it's got so much bulk behind there, I'm going to use my dimensionals to stick that on. And yay, another sheet I can throw in the bin. I can get rid of all these. Hope you guys do this too. Oh, why, thank you, Carolyn. We're going, Carolyn and I don't know whether we didn't decide it together, but I think we decided it on our own. I don't know whether Carolyn still is, but we're going natural again. So, and I was looking in the mirror the other day and I'm thinking, I really should get it coloured again. And it's like, nope. I'm going to see what it's like before I turn grey. So, and occasionally I'll find a nasty little silver one, but they get pulled out pretty quick. So, there is our card all finished. Oh, am I in the right spot? I can't see. There we go. So there is my card all finished, and so this is the one that I'm going to give away. And these are the ones that we made. Oh, this is actually, I must say, the Pinterest one is opposite colours. So I'll show you what I've done. So that's what it is, which I really like. I really like the sentiment filling that up. This is the happy birthday one that I did. So you can see it doesn't sort of fill that space as well, but on one of my cards, I had a nice big blue blob of ink. Is anybody surprised that I have ink all over my card? No. So I've managed to cover it up with my happy birthday. And then this is the opposite colorway, which was actually the original Pinterest card. So let me just pull back a little bit more because I think I'm still zoomed in. There we go. So they're all of the cards together. So, but I think I quite like the red base over the blue base, but they're all different. They're all good. So, and I've done the same thing with the C here as well. So that's all been stamped on in the cherry cobbler. And so for the insert for these, I've just done the little oyster-eaty things on some sand, and I did lightly sponge around the edges of that cardstock as well. And don't forget to stamp your envelope, and when you do, make sure you remove the ink from the block so that you don't get marks on them. I don't know whether you can see that. And when you stamp your envelopes, make sure your envelope is up the right way. So there we go, but it's just an envelope. I will address it upside down, and no one will know, it'll go in the bin anyway. Now the happy birthday actually comes from a hostess set which is in the occasions catalogue, and this one's called Iconic Occasions. So, and that one's got some good, just pretty, there's not much font going on there, so they're really good for just like mail things as well. So that is my cards for this week. Now don't forget, my giveaway this week is the mini pine cone embellishments. I'll just bring them up. So comment away and I will draw a winner for this next week. Apologies to the winner for this week. I'm going to go and draw that right now, but you will be getting the frosted sequins instead of the doilies. So you'll be getting them instead of doilies, because if you saw the beginning of my video, I made big boo-boo and I sent the wrong prize out. I'm sure that it's not going to matter too much though. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much for joining me again. I hope you go and make some man cards. Like I said, these are on Pinterest and it's been cased to death. It's such a great layout and it looks fantastic. It's a really, really awesome one. I'm thinking I might even use this layout. I need to get back into my regular Christmas stamper stacks that I was doing, because it's, you know, the end of February already and we want to be prepared by the end of the year. So I might even pinch this layout and make it into some Christmas cards, and I will have that. I don't know whether it'll be before the end of the month because of catching up on all sorts of stuff, but hopefully maybe at the beginning of March, maybe I'll have that organised. Cool. Okay, thank you very much for joining me once again, and I will see you all next week. And yay, no boo-boos, no mistakes, no mishaps. Exciting for me. I think it's more exciting for you guys when I do make mistakes though. Cool. Okay, thanks for joining me. See you next week. Bye.